So how does it work in actual usage, or how well does it work? So there's a few complaints about it. So let's turn this on. Oh, by the way, this lens is collapsible, and then you can turn the camera on also by rotating this out. So here is the screen showing almost nothing. So two things I have complaints about are this toggle switch and this mode dial. First of all, the toggle switch, a lot of times you're holding the camera like this, and then you're trying to get a grip over here, and then you accidentally go like that. So this will change. Let me see what mode I'm in first. Sorry about that. So let's say I'm in aperture priority mode. If you watch this number, when I go like that, it just goes up to 4 and 4.5 accidentally. So a lot of times when I start taking pictures, I notice it's gone up to 4 or 4.5 when I want it to be 3.5, which is the largest aperture for this lens. So that's a minor quibble. I think it would have done better if they had a rotation dial like on the DSLRs here or other cameras. It would be much better instead of doing this. Also, when you're trying to change aperture value very quickly, it's kind of hard to go like that for 6-7 times instead of just turning very quickly once, twice, and then you're there. So it's one feature I don't like about this camera. Here is the mode dial. It rotates way too easily. As you can tell here, it's just minor touch of it. It will rotate the dial, so you could be in the wrong mode when you're trying to take a picture. So that also have some complaints about. As for the display, it's very good. You can't really tell in this video because it's oversaturated, but the display is really good. You can tell the details when you're trying to manual focus. And right here you can see the IR eye sensor. So basically the EVF will display whatever is displaying on the LCD if the LCD were on. So you can just do everything from the EVF. You do have the option of turning off the display to always use the EVF. So this will turn on when you're close, but when you're not, this will never turn on. I assume that will save some battery life. So overall handling, I think it's pretty good. The camera is fairly hefty, and it feels very solid. And given the metal surface, it feels like pretty much like a slab of metal, and it's heavier than most mirrorless cameras, so it does feel like it's very solid, and it's got some heft. And because it's a little heavier, maybe less camera shake, but due to VR systems, it really doesn't matter these days. So overall, the handling is pretty good. There's some minor design quibbles that I have about the camera, but otherwise fairly solid, excellent camera to handle. And the body is, I'll say, for most parts, very well designed. So one more thing I want to mention is the movie shooting. So unlike most new cameras, mirrorless or not, this camera, you cannot shoot a full resolution movie in the photo mode, which is kind of a weird design by Nikon's part. So let me just turn this on. In this case, I'm going to turn it on by turning on the lens. So if I'm in photo mode, when I press the record button, it's going to record only at a resolution of 720p 60 frames per second. And if I were to shoot at 1080p, then I have to go into movie mode and press this. So you might miss some movie opportunities when you're, say, taking pictures and then you want to press this. So that's another complaint I have about the design of the Nikon. Of course, you can argue you can use the this mode, which takes it's a motion snapshot. It takes a movie and then some pictures at the same time, or one picture at the same time. But it's, in my opinion, just a gimmick. And this position or this real estate on the dial could really have been used for something else. Same for the smart photo selector. I don't see much use for it. I'll talk about it briefly in another video about the menu system and the usage. So yeah, that's it for the body and the handling of the Nikon V1 camera. Overall, pretty solid.